My sister called me a W in front of all our family and friends. Hi, I need some advice. This has been such a messed up situation for me. I have 3 siblings, 1 older sister, 1 younger sister, and a baby brother. Growing up, I was extremely close to all my siblings. I practically raised my 2 younger siblings. When my older sister was 16, she met this older guy and got pregnant. She decided to drop out of school, and since her boyfriend did not have a job and was still living with his parents, she lived with us for a while. My sister and her boyfriend always had a horrible relationship because he had hurt her physically on multiple occasions. My parents tried to persuade her to leave him, but she never would. Later, after my niece got older, my older sister's boyfriend moved in with us. At the time, I was 16 years old and my older sister was 20. We don't live in a big house, so I shared a room with my sister, her boyfriend, and my niece is my sister, and I originally shared a room. One night, my sister's boyfriend, who was almost 30 at the time, climbed into my bed while my sister was asleep. He saw me and he wasn't wearing any clothes. When I woke up, I was confused and told him to get out of my bed. I felt extremely uncomfortable and angry and told my sister what happened. They argued for a bit, but he just kept saying he did not do it and I was lying. But when I was alone, he told me he was joking. I told my sister what he said, but she asked me if I was lying, which I replied I would never do such a thing. I told my parents, and to my disappointment, it seemed like everyone was trying to make the situation not seem as severe. Eventually, I just insisted he move out. After that, my sister asked around for a place where her boyfriend could sleep, and my grandma offered him her couch for a few nights. At the time, I was 16 and felt like no one believed me or cared about me, but considering how much I loved my niece and wanted to be a part of her life, I decided to tolerate my sister's boyfriend. But instead, I never said a word to him again. Years passed and my sister and her boyfriend got a place. They built an extra entrance in our yard and they also had a son. Currently, I'm 21 and living on res. Throughout the years, I've compromised with my sister and have been the best aunt I could be, treating her children as my own. A few months ago, I got a call that my 15-year-old younger sister had been saw by my sister's boyfriend, who is 38. I was furious and felt guilty. My mother assured me that they had kicked him out and he would never be allowed back. I wanted them to file a lawsuit and have him arrested, but again, my parents felt it was too much. I spoke to my younger sister and promised her that if he were ever to come back, I would have him jailed. After this, I was just heartbroken because my sister took her kids and followed her boyfriend, ignoring the situation again. After some time without seeing my niece and nephew, I felt sad, but I was unwilling to go to her new house. Recently, my sister has been coming to see my parents a lot. She has been arguing with her in-laws a lot over money and other things. My sister never paid my mom anything when they were staying with us. She comes to complain. I never said anything and was just happy to see my niece and nephew. I am close friends with my cousin's boyfriend since we have the same interests, and I just like him as a person. At times I would get close to my cousin's boyfriend and sit close to him and joke with him, but I never considered doing anything romantic with him. My cousin's boyfriend works close to where I live on campus. Recently, he has been telling me that he is unhappy in his relationship and just wants someone to talk to. He messaged me one day that he would come and visit me. I agree. I'm studying psychology, so I considered this as a reason he wanted to vent to me. The visit lasted 2 hours. We ate and spoke. Soon I felt uncomfortable as he said he was interested in me and kept thinking about me. I blew him off and laughed. I made it clear that he was in a relationship with my cousin and I would not allow anything to happen between us. I did say that if they were not together, I would give him a chance because I like the kind of person he is. I knew that he would never leave my cousin and I did not want him to either. He begged me not to tell my cousin and I never considered the visit an issue because we essentially just ate and spoke. After the visit, I noticed my headphones were gone. I had left them in the bag when we went to buy food. He said that he would deliver them to me when he had time. 2 weeks went by and he returned them to me. This time he stayed outside and just gave me the headphones and left. I had considered the matter over and was preparing for exams. I didn't contact my family much until I had finished writing my last paper. Last week I came back from res since the school year had ended. On the surface, nothing had changed and everyone behaved normally. Last night was a family gathering, so all my cousins, aunts, uncles were present, and most of our family friends. My cousin and her boyfriend started arguing. When I went to check, my older sister told me to go back since I was the reason they were fighting. I was confused and eventually heard that my cousin's boyfriend had told my friend he had feelings for me. My friend told my sister, and my sister told my cousin. My cousin confronted her boyfriend and he confessed to the visits. My cousin did not say a word to me, even when I explained that nothing happened when he visited. My sister told everyone that I'm a W, and despite me telling her that nothing happened, she insisted that I was at fault. She called me the golden child and that my parents would cover up for me even when I was sleeping with my cousin's boyfriend. I later heard that my friend had told my cousin that her boyfriend would always look for me, which is not true. Throughout the night, my sister and friend go on to tell everyone that I'm a W and a horrible person. I stopped trying to explain myself because she would not listen to anything I had to say. My parents would later argue with my sister and tell her not to come back and see them again. I'm amazed about how much my sister hates me. I don't know what to do from here. Update. Hey everyone, thank you to all who commented and offered advice and judgments on my previous post. I've read all the comments and it helped me to look at my situation from a different perspective. Firstly, after my sister's rant, she called my mom and apologized to her. My mom told me she called her and I could see my mom had forgiven her. My sister did not say anything. A week passed after that and she came and told me she was sorry. Her words were, "It's been a week already, forgive me." I refused to say anything about it. She acted like everything was over and tried to engage me in conversation like everything was normal. And when I still refused to respond, she would say things like, "Oh mom, look, she is still upset. I've already apologized." My parents have forgiven my sister, so I find myself in a situation where my sister comes over to our house, does laundry, gets food, and whatever, like nothing happened at all. My mom jokes around with her and expects me to interact normally. I told my dad that I would never forgive my sister, but he says since we're sisters I should just let everything go. During this past week, I've also spoken to my cousin and apologized to my cousin. I admitted that I was wrong and promised that I would stay away from her boyfriend and would never say anything or act inappropriately toward him. All of my family members stay close together, so we often have family gatherings. I have run into my cousin's boyfriend quite a few times. During one of those run-ins, he said I looked beautiful. I didn't bother to respond and just walked away. Later in the night, he caught me alone and told me he would bang me one day. I told my cousin exactly what he said. I don't know what happened between them, but it's been 3 days since he made those comments, and they are still together. For my friend I mentioned in the original post, I confronted her about the things she said and her response was unexpected. I'm not going into detail, but weirdly, my friend blames me for the state her life is in. We have been friends for years and my friend and I have always been competitive. We like to compare grades in school. My friend has always been smarter than I am, but in the last year of high school, I achieved first place in the grade. We also said we wanted to apply to university together, but I ended up applying on my own online. My friend ended up not sending an application because she was waiting for me. I have persuaded her to apply for university again. She has been rejected twice. The reason is that she applies to departments and courses that she has no qualifications for, like a drama, theater major, even though she has never taken such classes in high school. Fast forward, my friend is unemployed and a heavy drinker and often smokes leaf, and her reputation with boys is not the best. I was flabbergasted and, of course, told her that her life is the course of her own decisions, and ironically I found out she once offered to give my cousin's boyfriend a favor. Not sure if it's true, I just thought it would be funny if it was. I don't want to make this too long, so I'll just mention I refuse to talk to my sister, and my parents and other family think I'm unreasonable. My mom said my sister was just speaking out for what she thought was right. Another thing is that my niece of 10 sleeps over at my house. Since the arguments, she has not come to sleep over. When her mom visits and takes her home, she cries and begs me to let her sleep here. She once shouted, "Please help me, I don't want to go." I spoke out and said she has a reason she cries to stay here every time her mom brings her over. My sister called me crazy and to mind my own business. I've mentioned this to my mom and she asked my sister about it. My sister said her boyfriend does not want my niece to stay at our house. I've considered calling the police, but I'm so afraid because my sister's boyfriend is involved with gangs. I know I can do it anonymously, but isn't this just my word against theirs? I have no evidence about anything and I'm just afraid my family will hate me, as they feel strongly that any problem can just be talked through.